Did I scare you? Did I scare you? Probably not. What is up, guys? Just a guy on my lunch break is back. It's Monday afternoon. Just wanted to do a quick update with you guys. So I was able to knock down my Kratom taper to 2 grams this past weekend. As of last night, I'm at 2 grams. So what I've started doing is still taking my evening dose when I first get home in the afternoon around 5:30. Taking 4 capsules. The capsules are 500 milligrams a piece, so that makes 2 grams. 4 capsules is 2 grams. And then over about the past week and a half or 2 weeks, I've been cutting down my nighttime or my bedtime doses of Kratom, little by little by little, knocking off a cap here, a cap there. And then last night, just went balls out, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to try not to take any the whole night. Hopefully my body is adjusted enough to where I'm able to get through the night in this way. So I did, and guess what? Wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. I want to let you guys know a few things that you can do if you're out there and you're just kind of happening upon my channel. I've been doing this channel for about 1.5 years now. I have come off of Kratom completely, at least once while I've been doing this channel. And I did this channel for a little while I was just using and experimenting with how responsibly I myself personally could use Kratom. And then there's been a period of time where the last couple of months where I've been tapering again, and I've been documenting that. I've documented all of it on this channel. You've gotten the very start of this channel was when I was heavily addicted to MIT 45 extracts. I started talking about it. I started to taper. My wife and I had a very surprise birth and pregnancy, and by surprise I mean we knew for a total of 6 days. Yes, this is a true story. We knew for a total of 6 days before we had our baby that my wife was pregnant and that we were having a baby. No time to repair, no anything. I was down to only a couple of grams per day when this happened. That triggered me, and I didn't want the stress of it, so I started using again. This is about close to 1.5 years ago now. And so I got back on it. Just used it willy-nilly for a while, and then I eventually actually came off for good, completely off. Stayed off for about 28 days. Went to a UFC fight in Boston, Massachusetts. I made the decision that I was going to enjoy myself while I was there, so I took some Kratom products with me. So I did use Kratom. So I was off for about 27 days, and then went to a UFC, used some Kratom for a few days, came back, and then I stopped again for about another 2 weeks and didn't use any more for about 2 weeks. Well, then I had that moment of weakness. Oh, look at that. You know, the last 40 days, I've only used it, you know, for 2 or 3 days when I went out of town to watch this UFC. That's the only time I've used it. I'm good, right? I'm good. No, I wasn't good. A lot of you aren't good. If you've ever had any sort of addiction to any opiate-like substance, you're never going to be good, probably, when it comes to something like Kratom. There are people out there who can use it just a couple of times a week. You know, they don't have to obsess about it. They don't have to, well, I got to take it morning, noon, and night, and then every hour in between. You know, there are people out there that can do that. I believe that. I concede to that. I'm not arguing that. I'm just not one of them. I'm just not. But you know, I get some haters on here sometimes because people think that I should be on here, you know, preaching about 100% abstinence, 100% sobriety. I should be on here preaching to everyone about going to therapy, you know, getting in a good AA and NA program, all that stuff. And I'm not on here preaching about those things. Why would I preach about those things when I'm personally not doing those things? Now, listen, that could end up being one of my biggest mistakes in life. It's just never going and getting actual help, through a treatment facility. That could be, I could live and die by that. And my life could be so much worse just because I never actually did that. I never actually got the help to fix the root of the problem of being an addict, right? That could very well be true. But at the same time, if I'm not doing it, I'm not going to be on here preaching to everybody else about doing it. I'm just not. Now, if you've found those programs and they have helped you and you've remained sober because of it and you are a better person living a happier, richer, fuller life because of your decision to get 100% completely sober, I absolutely commend you. I completely respect you. The amount of respect I have for people who just tell themselves no completely and put aside and put away everything that they might have going on in their lives to do what first? First, I gotta go get help. First, I gotta get off this shit. Then I can start to live other aspects of my life because it starts there. If I don't have that, and if I don't have the sobriety, everything else that stems out in my life beyond that is fucked up. So I gotta have that first. I completely respect that. I think that's the right move for a lot of people. I'm not saying it's the right move for everyone, but I do believe that that's the right move for a lot of people. I guess it depends on where you've been, what kind of rock bottoms you've hit, and whether you feel like you can stay away from that rock bottom and, and at least to some degree rehabilitate yourself through doing the work. Part of that is sharing your story, sharing your experiences with people, being completely open, honest, and accountable about that. Well, I got that part. I got that part down pat. I talk about my shit all the time on this channel. People know shit about me on this channel that really I shouldn't be telling people, to be honest with you. I've talked about some shit on here, and a lot of it does not paint me in a very delightful picture either. So this is my sharing with the group, doing this every day. The rest of it, taking inventory, making amends for things and people you may have done wrong. I can do that on my own. I don't need some group. I don't need 30, 40 people sitting around in a circle for me, so that I can admit that I'm an addict to them and they can hear all about my frailties and my shortcomings regarding addiction. I don't need that. I talk about it on here. I'm telling you guys now, and you're over 900 people, I'm an addict. I'm Corey, and I'm an addict. All right? It's not funny, by the way. Don't misconstrue the smile. I'm just chuckling that I'm sitting here talking to you guys like you're a behavioral therapy group or something, but that's kind of what we do here, and that's kind of what this channel lends itself to. So as far as I'm concerned, I get some hate sometimes because people think I should be on here just preaching anti-Kratom. If you're doing it at all, that's no good. And a lot of people look at me and say, dude, you're still on it. You're still on it. How can you still be on Kratom and then you're sitting here talking to people about coming off of Kratom? That's hypocritical, bro. Oh, is it? I'm just sharing my experiences, and my opinions. If you don't like it, if your opinion is different, okay, that's cool. Doesn't offend me one bit, I'm not claiming to be some worldwide healer or some sort of major authority on Kratom that everybody is just going to bow down and listen to everything I say. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. You probably won't. A lot of you are addicts too. So you're going to do whatever the hell your addict brain tells you to do, just like my addict brain tells me to do certain things. Anyway, so I do get some hate on here, but I've tried to make it clear multiple times that if you think I'm doing this just for the likes, or just for the subs, you got that wrong. Because there are times that the channel is somewhat of a nuisance to me, because I do feel compelled you know, to interact with people and stuff like that. And let me rephrase that. A nuisance is a bad word. You guys are never a nuisance. But the channel does take up a fair amount of my time, right? Especially commenting and responding to people and things like that. And I do feel, because of the sort of platform and what I talk about on here, I do feel compelled to interact with people some, talk to people some, you know, respond to their messages, that sort of thing. I have 2 kids at home, a wife, I work full time. You know, I just don't have a lot of time to mingle around on the channel. So by that measure, it does take some time for me. But it's one of those things where, you know, people sometimes want me to take a hard stance on just no, nothing. You can't use anything. 100% abstinence. Get your ass out there and go to an AA. Get up to your local chapter of NA. Go to your doctor. Get some Suboxone. You know, taper off. You know, make amends with all the people you've done wrong. And Holy Mary, Mother of God. You know, I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm just some dude going through it, sharing his own experience, right? And I share my opinions on here, and a lot of people are gonna think my opinions are shit, that my opinions are fuck all, right? But there's people on here that agree. There's no need at pointing fingers at people. People know how they feel when they're alone and they're in a room by themselves and there's no diversion or television or radio or phone or Instagram or TikTok or anything else, and they're forced to be by themselves for a moment inside their own thoughts and head. There are plenty of people out there that know where they are, and guess what? They don't fucking need me to tell them where they're at with their addiction, right? Which is why I don't ever get on here and tell people. When at some point it's going to happen to you or for you where you're going to get to a point where, hey, okay, this is not working for me anymore, and I kind of just want to be done with this shit. You know, it might be a physical feeling of coming off a withdrawal. It might be you tried to stop taking Kratom at some point and you realize how freaking depressed you were, and that the next day you had diarrhea 4 times because you weren't taking. It could be that for you. Okay? And or it could be a plethora of other things. You could have hit some sort of rock bottom. You could have wrecked your car. Probably not, unless you took a really, really big amount of Kratom. But you could have lost your home, you know, spending all your money on Kratom products because you're dependent upon it. You know, when you're physically dependent upon something, it's not as easy as, oh, I just ain't gonna take this anymore. Homie. Or homette. Yeah, you can say that. And some people are able to withdraw, completely cold turkey withdraw, and get through it, especially if they're a person that just doesn't have a ton of responsibilities. But for other people out there, if you got families, jobs, this and that and the other thing, sometimes you can't just throw all your fucking chips into the table and just say, go all in and say, you know what, I'm going to the doctor. You know what, I'm going to my local chapter of NA, AA. Who cares that I've got kids at home that I have to take care of them in the evenings? I'm going to spend 7 days a week in AA and NA if I have to, and I'm going to do everything that I have to do to... No, everybody is not there. Everybody cannot do that, right? That's where I come in. Slow and steady wins the race. And a lot of people think I'm on here just for likes, just trying to get, you know, I ain't never gonna... I had somebody say the other day, oh, this dude ain't never gonna quit. He's been tapering for years. Even though I've only had the channel for a year and a half, I've been tapering for years. Dude obviously hadn't listened to my channel. He probably looked at it sometime a year and a half ago and saw me talking about a taper. And then, you know, a few days ago was the only time he's checked back in the last year and a half. These folks still tapering. You know, he don't know my story. People don't know my story. A lot of people don't know my story. I understand that. But you shouldn't comment if you don't know my story. I mean, that's fair. But at the same time, we live in America. You have a right to comment. Comment all the fuck you want to, in fact. Even if your comments are completely wrong and misguided, you can still comment. But anyway, All right, I gotta go. I'm almost home. But I'm at 2 grams. Definitely by this weekend, I plan on doing this. Just completely jumping off. It only makes sense right now. I'm at 2 grams. I've only been there for a night, so unless I lay down tonight and I'm like, no, I jumped the gun a little bit, I gotta go back up to 2.5, or I gotta go back up to 3. Unless something like that happens, I'm staying at the 2. Probably gonna drop down to 1.5, and then maybe 1 later in the week. And then by the weekend, probably by Friday or Saturday, boom, I'm bouncing, getting off completely. I am planning it as such to be a weekend night that I jump, and that's for obvious reasons, so I can be home, the comfort of my own home, my family, not have to work, things like that, if I do experience any kind of struggles, insomnia, withdrawal the first night or two. So anyway, that's my update. Love you guys very much. Leave a comment down below, let me know where you're at in your process. Like the video and subscribe if you've not. The channel does help people. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.